Yo, 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 what's up? It's your boy Jared Gunzy, back with another review Z. And this review is for Blue Beetle. Now, I'm gonna just start off and say, when the first trailer came out, I wasn't too pleased about seeing this movie because it seemed like a made for Cartoon Network TV movie. The production design reminded me of Ben 10, the live action Ben 10 they had many years ago. And the second trailer really sold me, actually. And I'm glad I saw this movie. Now, I have not been too familiar with Blue Beetle until Injustice 2. That was my introduction to Blue Beetle. I've seen him in other movies like the Justice League versus Teen Titans cartoons. Um, I didn't hate the character, but I was more of a Firestarter fan, sort of say, in Injustice. But I really love this character now. After seeing this movie, I'm very intrigued in this character's story. Now, I'm not going to pose and act like as if I'm very aware and full aware of my or just Hispanic culture and all, but I am black and Puerto Rican, and I do learn a little bit into my heritage on both sides, and I quite love it. To be real with you, I love how this movie is very representation of the Hispanic culture. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it was something beautiful about that in here, about the whole Hispanic family dynamic and just the community in itself and the beliefs that there is. I don't know if I worded that correctly, but anywho, let me get to the movie. This movie was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Now it started off a bit, and I gotta say the look of the movie, even though it looks like it was made for TV on Cartoon Network, um, somehow it fits with the tone. They made it work. They really made it work. Excuse me. Now, unfortunately, as good as this movie might be with the special effects and even the story, character building with Reyes, there are some flaws. There is definitely some flaws. Now, I didn't even point out the full. Let me point out the full positives first. My positives with this movie is that I loved how it did take its time. I loved the character development in each character. And also, one thing I want to appreciate is that there's a certain event that happens in the movie. Like in certain superhero movies or movies like this, there's a certain event where a tragic event happens to the hero, you know, where there's a mourning process. But then they find themselves not getting caught up in the moment of mourning because they have to take care of the mission in hand first, right? And when they take care of the mission at hand, which is usually the final battle, they forget about the traumatic experience they had just before. And it's like they're all happy and whatnot that they won the battle, and it's like we kind of forget that traumatic experience even happened. And then I appreciate how in this movie it was addressed that even though after all the storm, we still are we're saddened from what happened. And this movie addressed in a little minor moment, and I appreciated that detail. I really did. I appreciate a lot of details in here, to be real with you. Now, my flaws with this movie is that the bad guy, the villain on here, depending on who you want to call the villain. Oh wait, I'm getting off track. This is why I need to start bringing a notebook and writing notes. The villain who suits up to fight Blue Beetle, I gotta say, those scenes were amazing. I had so much fun with those scenes. The villain who was fighting Blue Beetle reminded me of something. He reminds me of what Craven the Hunter should be, but unfortunately, we're not gonna get that. And even he has his own little backstory that made you emotional. Um, what doesn't make sense to me is how this movie, I think, had a lower budget than the Flash movie. Yet, I'm not gonna say that CGI was in here was top notch on some scenes, but it was far. I'm spitting all over the place. It was far better than the Flash CGI, and I don't know why. I don't know why this is better than the Flash CGI when they have the same amount of budget when Flash had more of a budget actually. Anywho, my flaws is that the main villain, the female villain, so to say, she's very cartoonish. Cartoonish. Like she's a cartoon villain to the core. To be real with you, you know, her mission is that she wants to create an ultimate weapon for the military to rule the world, but she has to extract it. And she mistreats her co-workers, like getting one guy's name wrong all the time, calling him Santos when his name is Jose, and that probably is going to be her downfall. She's very cartoonistic. I will say that about the villain. But she serves her purpose, I guess you could say. This movie, I can see it being very popular amongst kids. Damn near as popular as Spider-Man, maybe. But unfortunately, no one's seeing this movie. This movie is, and I want to say it's the marketing team's fault, but I don't think it's the marketing team's fault. Nobody wants to see this movie because of, one, it's the DC universe. They've had their bad taste of DC, and two, you got the toxic fan base that doesn't want to support the James Gunn universe, honestly, and that's a shame because James Gunn is a creative visionary. I'm gonna just say that, and I trust in him to where he's gonna bring the DCU. I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate because when I was looking at the seatings for all the theaters, they were all empty for every single one. And this is such a good movie. It's quite a fun time. There is a hallway scene where I feel like this was my favorite fight scene in the entire movie, where Blue Beetle is fighting these dudes in the hallway. We saw peaks of it in the trailer, but it does not do it justice how fun and uplifting that moment felt, and the music they played on that scene. That hallway scene was so fun, and I wish it was longer. Of course, there is this humor in here that's going to be goofy to a lot of people, because it was goofy to me. But this whole movie is embracing the fact that it is kind of a goofy setup, to be real with you. So be aware of that. If you didn't like Flash, you're more than likely to like this, but you probably won't like this. I will say this. Aquaman is the highest grossing DCU movie that they have made. It made $1 billion, right? So I guess it was pretty popular, right? I find this to be way better than Aquaman. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I find this to be way better than Aquaman. It's way more fun. It's better CGI. I actually feel something with more. I feel emotional about all the characters in here. Not that I didn't feel emotional about the Aquaman characters. Only felt. I'm not going to get into that. But all I'm going to say is this movie deserves your watch on the IMAX screen. If you don't want to watch it, I understand. All I want to say is that my girlfriend hates superhero movies, but she there's this certain superhero movies where, well, a lot of them she will not watch, right? But she wouldn't watch this. She would hate it. So yeah, that's why I say be advised to go at your own risk. I do think this movie is being a little overhyped because I saw reviews saying that this is the best DC movie since Christopher Nolan's Batman. Bullshit. Anywho, man, I don't know what else to say about this movie. I need to start carrying a notepad to take notes so I can be more thorough on what I'm going to say in these reviews so I can cut these down shorter. Anywho, my final rating for this movie, I'm going to give this movie, having fucking nose things. I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving it a 7 is because there is some flaws in here that I didn't care for. Like, some stuff in here that they kind of could have just kept out, I didn't really care to see, or it just could have been done better, such as maybe the pacing a little bit. Also, some of the jokes could have been out of there, and a little bit of the over-top goofiness that they had. The thing about DC movies is that they embrace that they're comic book movies. That's the thing that DC has over Marvel, over the MCU. The MCU feels like movies made for, for the movie experience. They don't feel like comic book movies. They feel like comic book characters in movies. DC feels like it is embracing the fact that it is a comic book movie and you're seeing a comic book play out in front of your eyes. And I appreciate that. 7 out of 10. Blue Beetle. Y'all take care. It's been your boy, Jared Gunza. Peace. I'm out of here.